You know, they say if it bleeds, it leads, ladies and gentlemen.
Alex Jones has like a busted nose. What happened to this dude? This is crazy. The deep state's after him. Seriously, look at this. Who hurt this guy?
You know, they say if it bleeds, it leads, ladies and gentlemen. And I was literally out there in the hallway congratulating Steven Crowder on record level views.
Okay, so if you're looking here, right here, I'm circling with my mouse. I'll put an orange circle on it when I do the edits. So here's Alex Jones in the corner here. Watch what happens here. He's Steven Crowder walking in. You can see him there, and he's about to congratulate the dude. And Alex Jones is standing there, and then this happens.
And then they said, you're back on air. So I turned, and they got this wood paneling on the walls. So I turned right to the edge of the wall.
Oh, I love it, dude. You see that? Oh, my God, that's fantastic. Alex Jones just rammed right into that wall. Dude, he must have hit that thing hard. Did you see this guy's nose? Look at this. Look at the dude's nose. It's so messed up. How do you mess your face up so badly? By running into a wall. Oh, my God. Oh, man, that's nuts.
On record level views. And then they said, you're back on air. So I turned, and they got this wood paneling on the walls. So I turned right to the edge of the wall.
Oh, God, dude. I love it. I love it. That is fantastic. Sadly, though, that's not actually what this video is about. This video is about the deep state. And it does involve Alex Jones. I just wanted to find a place to kind of fit that in because it's just fantastic, dude. You cannot walk away from an opportunity to show an audience that video. Alex Jones walking right into a wall, man. I love it. Even the walls are after him. The deep state has co-opted the walls now. They will do anything to get this guy, won't they? Jeez. It's the Matrix. It's the globalists. The globalist Trotskyites looking for him. They're out to get him, and now they've co-opted the walls. Just ridiculous, dude. Oh, I love it to death. Quick interjection. I won't take long. I just wanted to tell you guys, YouTube's algorithm operates off of a few factors. Watch time, whether or not you subscribe, and whether or not you like something. So if you really want to help my channel, I would appreciate it if you guys watch the video to the end. If you don't watch it to the end, just watch a little bit longer than you would have otherwise. I would appreciate that very much. All right, let's get back to the video. Okay, so here's what let me give you some insight into what the story is really about. It's about this weird movement in conservative circles, Alex Jones included. In fact, he may have given it the most airtime, given it the most breath. It's about this idea in the conservative movement that you have to bow down to Satan. You have to pray to Satan or be a Satanist or a devil worshiper or whatever to be involved in Hollywood to any degree. It's like a rule, apparently. And Alex Jones talked about it. Now, some new people talked about it recently. I talked about this clip when it came out. I want to do a little bit of a remix, show you guys what happened before with Alex Jones, and then we're going to hit some of the new people. This is from mid-February 2023 when this video came out. Mid-February 2023. He goes out on this guy named Dave Scarlett's podcast. Dave Scarlett is insane, and extremely influential. He's had like retired generals and stuff on his podcast, and not just Michael Flynn either. I'm talking like General McInerney and stuff, like legitimate, full-blown, real generals of the U.S. military. At one point, he's had on his show. So anyway, listen to what Alex Jones had to say here.
I've been a Christian since I was young, born again when I was younger, been worldly, had a lot of problems. I'm not perfect. But I got to tell you, it happened to Mark Dice. It happened to me. It happened to a bunch of other people I talked to. Before you're offered a...
What, walking into a wall? Is that what we're talking about? And busting your nose on it? You talking about the deep state coming after you with walls? Or is it something else?
It happened to a bunch of other people I talked to. Before you're offered a national TV show, before you're offered a major record deal, they get you in a room and they say, listen, we want you to reject Jesus Christ and pledge yourself to Lucifer.
You got to be kidding me, dude. This is a joke. Seriously. People buy this. Okay? People believe this. Now, Alex Jones is like this close to being mainstream. He's extremely influential. Oh my God. The people that watch Alex Jones alone would surprise the hell out of you. Seriously. Extremely well-known people, extremely influential people. He's a complete conspiracy theorist. It blows me away how influential this guy is. He has had legitimate deals from legitimate companies before. And he's sitting here telling us that it happened to Mark Dice, too. He's another right-wing nutter butter of epic proportions. He's sitting here telling us that he was offered a contract at some official place, doesn't give the name, just to protect their identity, you don't want to hurt them. They ordered him to bow down to Satan and say a prayer to the devil or some other nonsense. Come on, man. Does anybody really buy this? Sadly, they do. Sadly, the host of the podcast probably buys it, Dave Scarlett, if nobody else. Sure, the vast majority of the audience listening probably buys it. I mean, not my audience, obviously, but theirs.
Yourself to Lucifer.
Just absurd.
A bunch of other people I talked to, before you're offered a national TV show, before you're offered a major record deal, they get you in a room and they say,
who is they? Are they in the room with us right now, Alex?
Listen, we want you to reject Jesus Christ and pledge yourself to Lucifer. And it was an off-record meeting with me when it happened. It happened.
Oh, off-record. Isn't that convenient? Yeah, I don't have any recordings of it. I mean, I have no evidence whatsoever, but I swear this happened. It's those damn communist, Chi-Com, capitalist, communist, socialist. No, capitalists are good. I'm sorry. Communist, socialist, Trotskyites. That's who's doing it. These people are turning the friggin' frogs gay, okay? This guy.
Meeting with me when it happened twice. Mark Dice tells the story because it wasn't an off-the-record meeting.
It was on the record. So we have a recording from Mark Dice, is what you're telling me, right? A recording of an actual movie executive telling Mark Dice publicly, like, something that we can see. If you bow down to Lucifer, then we will give you a spot on MSNBC or something. Or Fox News. Give me a break. Oh, this is just insane, man.
Meeting was with the largest reality TV show production company out there. And it happened to Mark Dice. When he told me about it, I believed it because it happened to me. It's happened to Eric Muller, Mancal Muller. It's happened to a bunch of other people I know. And you're sitting there in a meeting with people in a high-rise building around an office table, and you're like, are you kidding? They're like, no, we're very serious. And we need you to reject Christ and pledge yourself to Lucifer. And I tell viewers that story, 20 years ago, and they go, that's insane.
Yeah, it is. It's insane. Unless they were with him. Were they with him? Did they, enter this meeting knowing that they weren't going to hire the Gay Frogs guy? I mean, Gay Frogs didn't come till way later, but the tinfoil hat guy anyway. Did they know they were going to reject him when he walked into that office? And so the executives get together and they're like, hey, it would be hilarious if we told him we'll give him the job. If he does something he's absolutely not going to do. So let's come up with the one thing that he absolutely would not do for this. We'll give you $30,000 a year to be a host on Fox or wherever he claims this is happening. But you have to say a prayer to Lucifer. You have to bow down to Lucifer. You willing to do it? I could see that if they were really just trying to troll him. I suppose I could see that. But honestly, he has zero credibility. Zero. I don't believe a word out of his mouth because, in my experience, the things that he says, there's usually just the slightest grain of truth to things. Like there are chemicals in the water that were changing hormones of frogs at one point. It's not turning the friggin' frogs gay, okay? Completely misunderstanding how frogs even reproduce in the first place. But he takes a grain of truth and he spins it up into this absolutely insane story. So honestly, I guess I could see this happening to Alex Jones if they were trolling him, but I have no reason to believe him. He's done nothing but lie, honestly, his entire career. And he's been sued for defamation for it.
20 years ago, and they go, that's insane. No, that really happen.
Okay, well, if it happened, we should have some evidence of it then, right? You should be able to give us something that we can look at. I'll take literally anything. Of course they don't have anything. Of course there's no evidence of this. They were lying the entire time. These people have done nothing but lie since day one. They have zero credibility. Zero. How is it that anybody believes a word out of their mouths at this point? Well, like I said, there are other people that have picked up on this claim and are repeating it right now. Now, I don't think that they're repeating Alex Jones. Like I said, I think Alex Jones gave this idea the most breath, the most airtime in recent years. But truthfully, this is an idea, a belief, if you will, that goes all the way back. All the way back. It can be traced back to a book called The Protocols of the Elders of Zion. If you've never heard of it, I'll give you the 30-second version. It's a book that was originally printed in newspapers in Tsarist Russia when they used to have czars. Back in 1902 to 1905, I think they printed these 27 protocols of the Elders of Zion, and they were supposed to be found on a dead Jewish soldier. I like air quotes, so I'm just keeping them here. Hopefully you don't mind. Dead Jewish soldier, and they were the Jews' plan for world domination. And it was, of course, complete nonsense, all of it. There was no Jewish soldier. There was no elder group of Zion who were trying to take over the world or whatever other nonsense they have. It was all made up all along. And it wasn't even written in a convincing way either. Like, you can download the book from the FBI vaults. They declassified it. They, interestingly enough, Henry Ford, yes, that Henry Ford, the one that started the Ford car line or whatever, hated Jewish people, apparently. I had no idea. And he started basically a printing press, printing copies of this book, this Protocols of the Elders of Zion thing. No joke. Henry Ford. And the FBI, basically after World War II, Hitler mentioned it in Mein Kampf. After World War II was over, there was almost a consensus among all of the countries, among all of the leaders, that they're not gonna ban it. They're just going to suppress its ability to propagate. If people want to spread it, they're going to have to do it hand to hand. They're not going to be able to just mass print it and sell it at like Borders Books or Barnes and Noble or whatever. They're going to have to pass it out on street corners. They're going to make it difficult to pass out, basically. And that went for like all of European countries and all of everything. Now, this book that I'm referring to, this is the actual book right here, Protocols of the Elders of Zion. There are 27 protocols, I believe, that were printed in various newspapers, and it was all compiled into a big book called The Protocols of the Meetings of the Learned Elders of Zion. It's a little bit of a longer title. Well, anyways, in 1923, we discover something like 80 to 85% of this was straight up plagiarized, copied from another book, a French book written in 1854, had nothing to do with Jews, didn't even mention Jews. It was plagiarized from that. That was uncovered by newspapers in 1923. So this has unequivocally been proven to be false. There was no Jewish soldier. There were no elders of Zion. There was no Jewish plan for world domination. It was all made up, all of it. But what's really fascinating is looking at the people that spread it and looking at the things that it said. Like I said, it wasn't even written in a convincing way. It's honestly completely ridiculous. Like, it says things like, let me find. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do this, but apparently I can search for things. Just take a look at Protocol 2. Again, this is supposed to be their plan for world domination, the Jews' plan, right? Our employees chosen from the Goyim cattle. Goyim cattle is supposed to be what the evil Jewish leaders call non-Jews, the Gentiles or whatever. Goyim cattle must be of a type that submit to blind and servile obedience to our specialists and advisors, who have been trained from childhood to rule the affairs of the world. I mean, this is just this isn't believable in any way at all. Like, we're reading exposition right now. You guys never heard of exposition? Let me explain it by showing you this one guy's YouTube video that really sums up exposition succinctly. He'll explain it for me. It's a cute redhead, if you're curious, that explains it. Name of the video is Cute Redhead Explains How Movies Work. It's on the channel Alasdair Beckett King. He deserves a follow if you don't follow him. This is just an on-point video. Just check this out. See what I'm talking about with exposition.
My favourite part of a film is exposition, which is when one character tells another character something that both of them already know. Gentlemen, you already know that the Raven has struck again. Now, I don't need to remind you that we are cops.
The Raven's a myth. Michael, how long have we known each other? 10 years?
Joey, you're my brother. Longer than 10 years.
Sorry, do I have to call Mom to establish that you and I are siblings?
Don't call Mom.
I'm calling Mom. Hold on.
Dude, I love it. I love this guy. I love him to death. He is so funny, seriously. And he explains it so well.
Mom to establish that you and I are siblings?
Don't call Mom.
I'm calling Mom. Hold on.
Hello, Mom?
Mikey, it's me, your elderly and/or Jewish mother.
Again, another thing that everybody already knows, right? Your elderly and or Jewish mother. We already know that. The mom knows that. The kid knows that. Why is she even saying it? I mean, you see this in movies constantly, and now that you know what it is, you will notice it every single time. They won't be able to slip exposition past you. And, to be fair, some movies and TV shows and stuff have some really creative methods of exposition. It's necessary. You have to tell the story to the audience in some way. So sometimes exposition is like a necessary part of the process. But, God, sometimes it's cringy. And sometimes it's so shallow and transparent. Like, so easy to see straight through,
Yeah,
Just call in to
Mom.
say that you're still single and your career's going nowhere.
Mom, listen to me, will you? If I don't catch the Raven, they're going to close the precinct.
See, that's a really good one. A mother complaining that the kid is not married. You need to find a good wife. That's something you hear in everyday life. Like your parents complain about not being married yet or not having kids. When are you going to give me grandkids or whatever other thing, right? That's perfect exposition. It fits the story perfectly and it fits real life perfectly. That is logically something somebody else would hear, right?
Just call in to
Mom.
say that you're still single and your career's going nowhere.
Mom, listen to me, will you? If I don't catch the Raven, they're going to close the precinct. Close the precinct? But it's Christmas. You think I don't know that? Ghost of a child who died on my first case. And that's how exposition works. But of course, you already knew that. There's a wall there.
God, every piece of this video that he made, 58 seconds long, was flawless. Even him walking into that wall, there's a subtle joke there. I don't know if you caught it. He was breaking the fourth wall. That was the joke. He's breaking the fourth wall, which is a saying used in TV and movies to imply that, the characters in the movie are hinting at the fact that they know that they're in a movie or they're in the TV show or whatever. And he literally walked into a wall, breaking the fourth wall, showing you the exposition. Just flawless explanation of exposition by this cute redhead. So thank you so much, Alasdair Beckett King. Fantastic. Anyways, as I was saying about the elders, they're the protocols of the elders of Zion. You can see the exposition plain as day in what, this is supposed to be written by Jewish leaders to the Jewish people, like the Jewish soldiers, and it was found on a dead Jewish soldier, supposedly. Like, it's all garbage. And it's so obviously garbage. Like, how did anybody believe this? Like, listen to this again and think about how expositional this is. Our employees, chosen from the Goyim cattle, must be of a type that submit to blind and servile obedience to our specialists and advisors, who have been trained from childhood to rule the affairs of the world. Really? Your specialists have been trained from childhood to rule the affairs of the world. If that's not exposition, I don't know what is, seriously. This is transparent, plagiarism, transparent garbage, right? This whole thing was basically a compilation of every anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that existed over the past 2,000 years, pretty much. It was all compiled into this big book. This next line really drives it home for me, though. Listen to this one. So the Goyim cattle have to be chosen to be blind and servile, to be obedient to their specialists and advisors who've been trained from childhood to rule the affairs of the world, right? That was the last line. And then they say, these are not empty words. Think of the successes we arranged for Darwinism, Marxism, Nietzscheism, etc. To us, comma, Jews, comma, because we didn't know it was Jews before. Like, God, it's just, the exposition is so obvious in this. Seriously, how did anybody believe this garbage? To us, Jews, it is plain what a destructively disintegrating force these directives have had upon the minds of the Goyim cattle, that is, Darwinism and Marxism, have been delightfully destructive on the Goyim cattle. So us, the Jews, are going to continue to use them for world domination. It's just insane, dude. And it's fascinating to read through every one of these protocols, because when you do, you start to realize that, like, literally every conspiracy theory that you can think of, or at least nearly every conspiracy theory, comes from here. There's something called the Seven Mountains Mandate. It's a group of people out there, a group of Christians, evangelical Christians basically, who intend to take over the United States government. And here's how they intend to do it. They want to get people to the top of these key areas of society, 7 areas of society. The top of, the presidency, they want to be able to control the economy. They want them at the top of the military, so on and so forth. They want their people at the very top, because then they don't have to go knocking on doors to convince people to come to Jesus. They can force you to come to Jesus, right? That's the Seven Mountains Mandate. That came from this, that idea. That was the plan for world domination from the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. Seriously, the evangelical extremist Christians used the supposed plan that the supposed Jews had in Tsarist Russia to take over the world. They took that plan right out of this propaganda book and repurposed it to actually use it to attempt to take over the U.S. Seriously. The conspiracy theory that, the elites are eating babies, that they're drinking, adrenochrome, or they're drinking blood. The conspiracy theories about cancel culture being used to silence critics and everything. It all stems from this paper right here, this book. When we, the Jews, of course, are on the throne, every financial thing not in our accord will be swept away. This is all in caps. They're yelling. So I guess this is them yelling. All money markets will be destroyed and replaced by grandiose government credit institutions, which will be in a position to fling upon the market billions of industrial paper. You may well imagine what an immense power that will give to us. You'll be the berries then, Morgan. Et al. A? I don't understand the context on that, but God, dude, everything about it is just transparently bullshit. So here's the point. The conspiracy theory that Alex Jones is laying on us, that he laid on us a minute ago, about him praying to Satan or whatever.
Sitting there in a meeting with people in a high-rise building around an office table, and you're like, are you kidding? They're like, no, we're very serious.
That came from the Elders of Zion book. Really, every conspiracy theory you can think of came from that book. 1902 is when it was written and compiled into a book in Russia, and then passed around Germany in World War II to whip people into a blood frenzy and turn them against their Jewish neighbors, convince them that they were, practicing witchery or whatever, and eating babies. I am not joking. I am not being hyperbolic here. And after World War II, the KGB, the people that compiled this in the first place, it's believed that it was plagiarized by the Okhrana, which was the predecessor to the KGB, which is like the USSR's version of the CIA, kind of. There's the secret police or whatever. So anyways, the Okhrana are believed to have compiled this. Eventually, the Okhrana became the KGB, and in the 50s, after World War II, and even a little bit before, the KGB was passing the protocols of the Elders of Zion around the Middle East. Iran, Pakistan, all over, India, everywhere they could, which is why you find so much anti-Semitism, built-in anti-Semitism today in the Middle East. Largely because of all of the copies that were passed around door to door in the Middle East by the KGB. And Israel's modern far right-wing government attacking civilians hasn't helped their image at all, but that's neither here nor there. The whole thing is just ridiculous. It's the point. Alex Jones made this story up, which, again, has its roots in the Elders of Zion here. And now we have a new guy. This dude's from the NIFB. This is Steven Anderson's cult. If you are unfamiliar, the IFB is the Independent Fundamentalist Baptist Church. It's Baptists. It's like the institution that runs Baptist churches. Well, Steven Anderson created the NIFB, the new Independent Fundamentalist Baptist Church. And the NIFB is absolutely nuts. Got so much talk of, like, anti-Semitism tonight, dude. It's crazy. I'm assuming that you've probably seen my videos before, but if this is your first go around, just let me introduce you to Steven Anderson real quick. This is a short one. This came out in 2015, and it's from his documentary, Were the Jews Killed in the Holocaust, I think is maybe the name of the documentary. He's basically a Holocaust denier. This is just a 28-second soundbite from it, okay? I have, like, a whole video breaking down, like, some of it got real ugly and disgusting and disturbing, and every last bit of it was wrong, scientifically and historically wrong, but just give you a little introduction to him here.
You say, well, what's the motive to lie about the Holocaust, Pastor Anderson? Well, here's the motive. Because without the Holocaust, there would be no nation of Israel. We can see the motive to lie about it because the whole justification for going in and creating the modern-day nation of Israel, which is completely satanic, and it was something that Rothschild was behind, and the United Nations, and the world government, etc.
That whole, world government and all that other stuff, that's all from the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. It's all from this. It all stems from this. This dude probably doesn't even realize where his conspiracy theories originally came from. And he's just repeating them blindly because, he believes them. So why not?
All proven in this film, Marching to Zion. The motive's clear to lie about it.
So anyway, that's Steven Anderson. Just want to give you a taste of who the NIFB is. This preacher right here, he's a member of the NIFB. His name is Daniil Kutsar, D-A-N-I-L is his first name, and then second name K-U-T-S-A-R, Daniil Kutsar. That's what I have written down here. Check out what he had to say about this evil cabal. It's controlling, pulling strings like puppet masters. By the way, even the word cabal, it seems like it's just a common word that's used to describe people who are trying to, like the deep state or whatever. It comes from the term Kabbalah, which is like a Jewish mystic practice. Even the word cabal has its roots in anti-Semitism. Anyway, listen to him talk about the cabal here. This one is from mid-July 2023, I believe.
And the thing about it, this is what we call selling your soul to the devil. And there are a lot of people, a lot of musicians that admitted to the fact that they sold their soul to the devil. For example,
Wait. Musicians have admitted to selling their souls to the devil, huh? Interesting. Okay, go on. Let him cook.
A lot of musicians that admitted to the fact that they sold their soul to the devil. For example, musicians like Eminem, Katy Perry.
No, Eminem has not told anybody he sold his soul to the devil. I'm actually a massive Eminem fan. I have been since I was a little kid, actually. I listened to Eminem when I was not supposed to be listening to him. I've heard every album, every song. I know the lyrics to a bunch of his stuff, and I think he's secretly gay, but that's a little conspiracy theory of my own that I'm not going to get into right now. Anyway, just look at the song Medicine Ball if you want the evidence. Anyways, at no point has Eminem ever seriously said, I sold my soul to the devil. Eminem is religious. He believes in God. He's done a ton of work with super religious people like Yelawolf, for example. He's been in giga-religious anti-atheist songs like, oh my God, Best Friend, I think is the name of the song with Yelawolf. I don't think Eminem is a Jesus freak by any stretch of the imagination, but he most definitely believes. So just debunking the first one right off the bat. Now, I don't know about the others, Katy Perry or whoever else, but he's full of it on the first one at the very least. Just straight up lying here. Lying through his teeth.
You know, musicians like Eminem, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, Jay-Z, Miley Cyrus, Robert Johnson, and many others.
And many others. And he's saying they admitted openly to selling their soul to the devil. Is that so? I mean, I just debunked just one of them. But again, this all routes back to the protocols of the Elders of Zion. We're going to make them bow down to blah, 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 and do what we say, and the Goyim cattle, or blah, 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 blah. It all ties back to that document. Seriously. And the reason that it ties back to this document in the first place is because this document was largely, the parts that weren't plagiarized anyways, it was created out of every conspiracy theory that existed over the past 1,000 years. From, I don't know, even 2,000 years. From the year 0, basically, all the way to 1900. Every anti-Jewish conspiracy theory that existed, which there were a lot, trust me, it was all put into this book.
All these people, they admitted to the fact, in their music or through interviews, that they sold their soul to the devil. They basically, the devil offered them money, power. They offered them, fame. And they're like, and they made that deal. They worship the devil. They sold their soul, so that way they can enjoy this life. That way they can be rich in this life. But guess what? And eternally, they're going to be damned forever.
They're absolutely absurd on every level. They're going to be damned forever and all this other garbage. It's insane. These people need help. And you know the sad thing? It's not just Daniil Kutsar. It's not just Daniil Kutsar who believes this. It's not just Alex Jones that believes this. We've even got Jim Brewer. He was an SNL comedian for a while. He was Goat Boy on Saturday Night Live, for real. And he also did a whole podcast episode about me. If you want to see me break down the podcast episode he did, it's on my Unfiltered channel. Anyway, God, it's just crazy. Listen to what this dude has to say about Lady Gaga. He's speaking as an insider. He secretly has this information.
Now, I'm telling you people, when you see this, it's a very special club. You had to be indoctrinated to get that club.
So he's saying when somebody covers their eye like this, like in a picture, you get a picture. Katy Perry's at the Met Gala or whatever the hell people do there, and they cover their eye like this for the picture. It's a secret message to fellow Satanists that they also believe in the Satanism and all of that other garbage.
When you see black eyes, that's a club.
I thought that was a sign that somebody was being abused, but okay.
You have to be indoctrinated by that club. Now,
you have to be indoctrinated by the club, he says. So they have to actually sit you down. Like, it's not just saying a prayer to Satan, apparently, the way Alex Jones tells it. You have to actually take the step to, like, learn this new information. Do they have Satanist classes you have to go through or something? I mean, Jim Brewer would know, right? He was at the top of Hollywood at one point. He knows he's a celebrity. I mean, not an A-lister, but he's up there, right?
Now, I went to Las Vegas with my daughter. We went to, I want to say, the Araya Hotel. In there is a Lady Gaga, display.
Okay.
Like a mini museum.
Cool.
My daughter's like, oh my God, Lady Gaga is so cool. The first thing I see are skin boots. Human skin boots.
Oh, okay, really? How do you know it was human skin? Isn't that fascinating how he made that little jump? You start with a grain of truth and you make an extra little jump of logic. Now, Lady Gaga wore something called a meat dress. It was a dress made out of meat, basically, and it was a bizarre fashion statement that was intended to be shocking and catch attention, and it did. You know, it rose Lady Gaga's profile, and it rose her star, and everybody knew that she wore this bizarre dress. So, yeah, it had the exact effect that she wanted. Was it a sign that she worships Satan? No. Does it even imply or hint at the possibility that she worships Satan? No. Is there absolutely any reason in the world, any reason at all, to think that those boots were made of human skin, or that the meat was anything like that? Of course not. That is beyond conspiracy theory nonsense. Like, far beyond.
Then there's a video of her doing the whole thing like this.
Okay, she's just acting like a fool. People do that. Like, even Jim Brewer does that, right? I mean, act like a fool.
Then there's meat dress. That when you play the lighting.
There you go. That's what I was talking about. The meat dress and the skin boots or whatever. It was a fashion statement. It was just her way of catching eyes and being edgy and creeping people out and raising her profile, her star, raising her awareness in the public consciousness, making herself a household name. I mean, Donald Trump does stuff like this all the time. You know, not this, doesn't wear meat dresses, but I mean, he does things all the time to raise public consciousness of his doings, his things, the stuff he's up to. He wants his name in the media 24/7. You ever wonder why for a solid 4 years, every single week, without fail, Donald Trump did some crazy? You ever notice that? And it ended up in the media. And it wasn't just like left-wing media either. It was Fox News. It was One American News Network and all the, all of them. Every single news network covered it. You know why? Because he wanted them to be covering him. So he would do some crazy shit. Like, he'd do something absolutely unglued from reality intentionally so that he'd end up in the news. You know, he'd get into a little spat with Kim Jong-un. And he'd say, oh, you have a little red button on your desk. Well, I have a red button on my desk, too, and my red button's bigger. You know, he'd say stuff like that because he knew it would draw attention. He would say, Kim Jong-un wrote me a love letter because it'd draw attention. You know, he would talk about all these world leaders and all the things that he's doing, and he would make an ass of himself. You know what else he did? He actually stepped over the line into North Korea, the first president to do so since the start of the Korean War, to my knowledge, in the 50s, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but it's been like forever since a U.S. president's done that. And he did it. Why? Because it would keep him in the media. Because it was something for people to talk about. Every single week, Donald Trump had something that he would do to get himself put on the front page. He's a master manipulator when it comes to the press. Donald Trump is. And if he's not in the press, it upsets him. Even bad press, especially bad press, he loves it. He eats it up. If people are talking about him, it's a good thing. Like, look at like his NFT stuff. You know, people were talking about his NFT stuff. It was a big controversy, but his name was on their lips, and that's what mattered. That's exactly what Lady Gaga was doing here with this whole meat dress thing. She was getting her name on their lips. That was the point. She wanted to get in the news, and she succeeded. But unfortunately, in the process, convinced a bunch of people that she's also a Satan worshiper. So,
certain way it goes all different color. There you go. That's the meat dress of Lady Gaga. Now, you ain't telling me she joined a special, creepy, demonic club.
Oh, we've taken another step. Not only is it a creepy club, but it's also a demonic club. Come on, man. Come back to reality with the rest of us. I'm begging you. By the way, Jim, I mentioned earlier that Jim Brewer talked about me on his podcast, devoted an hour to the things that I had to say, and he offered to debate me in good faith, want to have a conversation one-on-one. And it's not like we're trying to score points, not like we're trying to get one over on the other, anything like that. We just want to talk. At the time, I said I was busy moving. I'm not into it. I'm down now, Jim. You want to have that conversation, my channel or yours? I'm down. Let's do it. Anytime, day or night.
And when these people are finally put in that category, the demons that are pulling their strings put them on the highest ladder to become popular, to sway everyone in the wrong direction. It's been a classic move since the beginning of time.
And apparently he's like been tracking this since the beginning of time. Apparently he has evidence, that traces back to ancient Roman days of people doing this exact type of thing, worshiping Lucifer and all this. Come on, man.
Classic move since the beginning of time. Roman Empire, it goes on and on and on and on.
Come on. Jim, please come back to reality with the rest of us. I am begging you. Get help, brother. And like I said, you want to debate me? Any time of day or night, I'm down. And it'll be a good faith. In fact, it won't even be a debate. It'll be a conversation. Good faith conversation anytime. Let me know. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. I think this is fascinating and sad at the same time.